Greetings everybody and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm your host Captain Rye, and today we'll be looking at the Scharnhorst here in World of Warships. Yes, that's right, the Scharnhorst. She just went on sale in the North American Premium Shop, which is one of the big reasons why I'm getting this review out now rather than waiting until next week, because I just don't know how long she's going to be in the Premium Shop for. And I have to say, the deals that she's got are pretty damn good. The fully loaded package is 20% off. Well, it's 19% off at $47.99. This makes her $5 more than just the basic ship, and you get something akin to the equivalent of about $25 additional dollars worth of goodies in the form of free premium consumables and modules, which is about 5,700 gold, about $25. The deluxe package offers you the same, but you get 5,000 gold on top of all of that, and a pretty cool flag. A lot of people don't really know what to do with Scharnhorst yet. She's so new. There were a limited number of reviews, and there were a limited number of testers. The biggest things that I can say with this ship are, number one, she's absolutely gorgeous. The camo, the hull shape, everything about her is beautiful. She's fast. Now, she isn't as fast as I'd hoped. Historically speaking, the Scharnhorst was the fastest capital ship ever put to sea at something like 33.5 knots. In-game, she's only 30 knots. And this really disappoints me. I really was hoping for at least 31.5 knots, which was the rumored top speed of the ship. So, it's a little disappointing. But at Tier 7, 30 knots in a battleship. And yes, I'm calling her a battleship because she has battleship-level armor. Of the 12 matches that I've played so far in this ship, I have found that it is incredibly difficult to actually get a citadel on the ship. You'll notice that she's very, very narrow. You'll also notice that the way she's laid out and configured, there's not actually a lot of excess room. Like in the Turpets, again, very hard to citadel, because she's very well protected, very well armored in that area. But the Turpets has a lot of bow and stern extra space, and regular penetrations really can hurt you in that ship. The Scharnhorst just does not have that much extra non-turtleback armored space. So she's got really quite amazing armor. Her rudder shift time, with the rudder shift module that you get if you buy the fully loaded package or the deluxe package, as I did, you can drop your rudder shift time down to 11 seconds. You have the same rudder shift time as a cruiser. So you can very quickly go from one direction to the other, and we're going to see a prime example of just how maneuverable this ship is. And all of the battles I played, when an enemy ship, a battleship with big guns, 15, 16-inch guns, in the cases of Iowas, Colorados, Negatos, when they fired at me, and I knew that they were coming in, I just turned my ship. And I watched the majority of shots miss. And the one or two that did hit either ricocheted off my turrets or were non-penetrations or over-penetrations on my superstructure. So here in this battle, fault line, Tier 7 maximum battle, obviously, since I'm Tier 7. Torpedoes coming in. We saw that Minakaze earlier. But this is an example of the ability to turn. If I had been in a Tirpitz, or in, to be honest, any other capital ship, I probably would have eaten at least one of those torpedoes. So I was actually able to avoid all of those shots. The biggest complaints in this ship are the main guns. Yes, the main guns are very hit or miss. Excuse the pun. They do have pretty bad dispersion. And as a result, you can't really rely on them. And because they're the 11-inch guns, they don't have the same kind of penetration values that you come to expect from a battleship type of play. And I think that's where a lot of people are playing the ship wrong, or expecting to play it wrong. You should play this like a cruiser that happens to have worse dispersion and bigger guns. And insane secondary armaments. There's the secondary armaments. I'm actually using my Tirpitz captain, so these secondaries are, in fact, manual secondaries. The number of secondaries on the Scharnhorst is the exact same number and type as the Tirpitz. You have the same number of 105mm guns capable of firing on both sides. Well, you have one less turret. That turret is actually dead center on the aft of the ship and can fire in both directions. There again, dodging torpedoes. You saw those torpedoes coming in, and I just turned the ship. Completely avoided it. And the secondary's absolutely brutal to enemy ships. That Minakaze just got torn up. One of the things I will say that I've noticed is that the armor piercing does a really, really good job of penetrating destroyers and doing a lot of damage to them. So that's definitely worth noting. The torpedo situation on the ship, she has the exact same type and number of launchers. She has one fewer torpedo per launcher, so she's got 3 to the Tirpitz's 4, but they're the exact same type. They're 66 knot, and they do 13,700 max damage. The difference is the Scharnhorst's torpedoes will reload in stock configuration in 68 seconds. 8 seconds over 1 minute. This means you absolutely cannot let a Scharnhorst, if you're fighting with it, you cannot let a Scharnhorst get within 6 kilometers of you. Because if you do, the superior mobility of the ship is going to result in your untimely death. As I like to put it, if you let me get within 6 kilometers of you, and you can't kill me in 70 seconds, you're dead. Because I'm going to be able to launch 9 full torpedoes at you. I'm going to be able to launch my first set from starboard or port, whichever side you happen to be on that works out better for me. We're going to get into a turning fight. I'm going to turn around, straighten out just long enough to get my torpedoes off on the other side, make my turn, and if it's 70 seconds, well, my initial torpedo salvo on the original side has reloaded, and I can fire again. So, you can't let this ship get within 6 kilometers of you. You can't do that. That's going to spell your doom. This battle is going to have some prime examples of that. Now, that Minakaze, he's disappeared back into that channel, and I think he's actually trying to get a sneak kill on this Congo, but he's so low health. As soon as he pops around that island and outside of cover, yeah, that Congo secondaries will probably kill him. He only needs to hit him once. So, guns aside, up close and personal, I found that these guns actually do a really good job. Armor piercing will penetrate battleship armor at ranges of less than 10 kilometers if you have the flat side. If you don't have the flat side, aim for the superstructure. If you know that your shots are just going to bounce off of the armor aim for the superstructure. You're going to get over pins up there, sure, but you're going to do about 4,000 damage to the superstructure. If you're close enough and you aim for the superstructure, your secondaries are just going to be lighting them on fire, and really you're just firing as a form of distraction. I would say keep the armor piercing loaded as you close in, because you have such quick turret traverse with expert marksman training. You have a 22-second turret traverse. 22 seconds for 180 degrees. That's cruiser level. That's US cruiser level. You can get into a turning fight with anything that you want at ranges less than 6 kilometers, and your guns will accurately track. So, unlike other battleships, you don't have to straighten out your ship, let your guns get lined back up on target. Nope, you can just stay in that continuous turn, and you can wreck whoever is showing up against you. The high explosive shells on this ship, not that good. I've had mixed success with them. There's a time and place to use them, and you'll see I'm popping back and forth here between high explosive and armor piercing. Because the armor piercing won't penetrate angled ships, high explosive is a good way to go. You can do a reasonable and sizable chunk of damage, but you're not talking like regular battleship stuff. So do keep that in mind. Now, as the battles continued here, we can see that my team is not doing very well. Standard battle mode, we are not doing well at all. We are down to 3 ships. The enemy team still has a destroyer, still has plenty of battleships, and I think they have a cruiser. But we're not going to give up here. We're definitely not going to give up here. There's a wonderful torpedo hit, and gotta love those 66 kilometer, or 66 knot, 6 kilometer torpedoes. Very, very nice. Coming back over here, the removal of that Scharnhorst means that we're in a little bit better position. We've equaled it out. Their team is kind of split up. There's the cruiser. They have a Negado bearing down on our base, and he's just finished off our Negado. So now it's down to 2 Scharnhorsts, actually. Just the 2 of us. Well, like the enemy team, we're kind of split up. I'm back over by our base, and I'm going to make a little bit of a derp moment here. That was totally intended. Totally intended, I swear. It wasn't intended, but it works out for the best. And the other Scharnhorst, well, he's back over in their base, harassing and causing them to react to that. Little tactical beaching action here as I get up close and personal with this Kirov, who, well, he got a little too close and continued to stay on a straight line. That tactical beaching action saves my butt from those torpedoes. Alright. Works for me. Scharnhorst, on the other side of the island there, he's running away, and rightly so. He's got a destroyer that's bearing down on him, chasing him. He's got a New York that's going to come into play here. And, he didn't necessarily have to run away. He could have turned around and tried to fight. As long as that destroyer stayed highlighted, he was in a pretty good position. This is a little bit of a derp moment right here, where I'm just continuing to grind on the rocks. Well, as you can see, that Negado is very rapidly coming at me and bearing down, and my guns aren't pointed that direction. This is actually because I had to go to my front door and get a package for that split second. There's the Negado. He's popped up. He's right there. He's well within that 6 kilometer range. And I had armor piercing loaded, and I fired into the superstructure. I did a little bit of damage, but there, I've just hit him for a number of torpedoes, and I've got him selected for my secondaries. So they're just going to wreck him. They're just wrecking him, and he's getting into a turning fight with me, which is I mean, you can't do that. I mean, just look how quickly my turrets are traversing around. Torpedoes on the other side, great torpedo arcs. Didn't manage to kill him, and I was a little surprised by that. But, you know what? That's fine. He's almost dead. Super low health between my secondaries and my rear gun. Armor piercing loaded, a nice flat broadside of the ship. Even if I didn't hit the citadel, the standard penetrations on the bow of that ship were going to do it. Well, the other Scharnhorst and I, we've managed to, in a very short succession, take a losing match and turn it into a winning one. You'll notice I got high caliber there, glorious amounts of damage. And yeah, you can do large damage games like this. It is possible, but you've got to get up close. You can't sit back and perform the sniper style meta that, you know, a lot of people have come to try and do. You have the armor. Think of it like the Colorado. You have the armor. It's very trollish. You can, more often than not, bounce, ricochet, or just absorb hits from ships that have bigger guns than you. You've got the mobility, again, to be able to dodge the majority of shots coming in on you. So you can actually reduce the damage that you have the potential to take. And I really wish they'd have, you know, the game UI like they do in World of Tanks that show you how much damage your ship blocked. I think that would be fun. Be like, oh yeah, I ricocheted, you know, 25,000 or 40,000 damage, and this ship would probably just have insane numbers. I have armor piercing loaded again, and I'm going to switch back and forth between armor piercing and high explosive. But this is going to be an example here of the bad dispersion. Again, this kind of goes into the Tirpitz level dispersion, the Colorado level dispersion, the shots, they go everywhere. You'll notice I didn't hit a single shell. And on the rear turret, 3 shots. I'm going to miss all those shells too. Gonna miss all of them. Shots coming in there from the New York. So, you know, using the speed, avoided all of those shots. Debating on what I want to do here. The other Scharnhorst on the team is running back to base, and I know what he's doing. He's trying to get back over here so that he's not the only one taking the brunt of that full strength New York. And simultaneously, if the destroyer pops up between both of our secondaries and primary guns, we will hopefully be able to just wreck him before he can finish one of us off. Turning back around, deciding, since that New York is now dealing with the friendly Scharnhorst, all of his guns are back over there, and because it's in New York, guns don't turn very fast. So I'm going to take the opportunity to turn into him, close that range, and get myself either in a position where I know my guns are going to be able to citadel him. And yes, these guns can citadel battleships like this. I've done it in another battle, which will be posted sometime later, where I managed to get 5 citadels on an Iowa. Granted, the Iowa got into a turning fight with me at less than 6 kilometers and a nice flat broadside of the ship. So I'm going to close the range, mostly so I can get torpedoes in there. There's a fire set by my main guns on the New York. People complain that the chance for fire isn't very good on these main guns. I have to disagree. We have a 20% chance for fire. And you have 9 shots. If you hit all 9 shots, you're probably going to get a fire. Whether or not the enemy puts it out right away, that's kind of another question. So, you'll notice that I'm trying to turn to get my torpedoes in there. They've got great arcs, but not perfect. Thought about turning even more, but that would give me even more of a broadside. I just want to risk it. So, looking at what he's doing, the New York is actually turning back in towards me. So I shorted those torpedoes rather than on the lead indicator. I figured he might do that. And hopefully, yes, I'm going to hit him. Shot him with my guns. Got some penetrations. 20 of those and a torpedo hit. That destroyer just finished off our last teammate. Now it's down to me and this destroyer. 20-second reload on the guns. That means this guy, who's on fire, and going to be detected anyway, is still going to be seen. And I am going to hit him and wreck him. Confederate, high caliber, and Kraken unleashed. Post-battle results screen. Pretty darn impressive. Look at that. Just shy of 500,000 credits. 163,000 damage done. And 6,000 XP. Somebody pointed out that that seems a little bit low. This is not my first win of the day. The base XP, because it was a standard battle and not domination mode, so there was nothing for me to cap, was just over 2,000. In another battle I had a 2,700 base XP, because it was a tier 9 battle, and it was domination mode. Anyway, folks, I hope you enjoyed my review of the Scharnhorst, and I hope this gives you some idea on how to play it, and will help you decide if you want it or not. I highly recommend this ship. If you liked the video, remember, hit that like and subscribe button. And, as always, I'll see you next time. This is Captain Rye, signing off.